What's going on, you little Kumas? Epic here, and welcome back to a new video on the channel. It's no secret that whenever I release a build, it's like once in a blue moon, but nonetheless, the floors are just wet with Coom because everybody wants to make room for my builds. So we're back today with another one, and this one is appropriately named Spam Cannon Moze. As I showed the skill tree to you on screen here to copy down into your game, I want to just quickly thank Psychotic Wolf. He's another Borderlands 3 creator, and he also does a bunch of other things as well over on Twitch. I'll leave all of his links down in the description down below, because Psychotic Wolf has a very popular Moze build called Slam Cannon, and that is actually the build that I took inspiration from when making this build. And boys and girls, be careful, mind the wet floor signs, because it did get his stamp of approval and also some input, so thank you Wolf for your help on the build. So yeah, go and check him out if you haven't already. I'm gonna go ahead and break the Magician's Code for you right now. This build is not groundbreaking in the slightest. It's not going to reinvent the Da Vinci Code. It's not going to bring your wife back, so don't get your hopes up. But what I can tell you is that this is a very fun build and just really easy to pick up. There's no real difficulty here. It's just an all-round great build, can handle all content in the game. Just amazing. Now that you've had time to copy down the skill tree from my screen, or alternatively you could just always download it to your game if you're too lazy like I am. But now I'm going to show you guys the gear that this build contains. As always, in the description down below is the name of all of it, as well as where it can be gotten from. I'm going to skip over the critical here, because we're going to come back to this in a second. This is the start of the show, but for my shield, I choose to run the Revolter. This is totally optional. You don't have to use the Revolter. Use whatever you think is best and whatever works best for you. But for me personally, I just prefer the Revolter shield for more damage. For my grenade, I've got the Cloning Maddening Tracker. This is simply to be spammed non-stop by myself so that I can keep up my consecutive hits from the Pearl of Ineffable Knowledge and all that jazz. And while we're on the subject, yes, we also do have a Pearl in the build as well. I've also got a Rocketeer here for my Iron Bear, and also to get some really impressive sticky kills like you might have seen in the intro on SpongeBoss. However, as you're going to see in just a second, this isn't what we're always going to be running. Then I've got a Guardian Angel in case I ever want to cheese some easy grenade kills. This thing applies 500% damage to anything you throw or do damage with while you're holding it in your hand. I've also got the Unkempt Herald, a very solid choice, although it's not my preferred weapon of destruction, although for you it might be. I've got a Kibsworth, and again, even though I don't always use this, a lot of people do like it, and that's why it's in the build. A Flipper, because we are playing on Moze, how could we not have a Flipper? This one speaks for itself, just a really low effort gun. If you want to film some incredible kill montages, I've got a Quickie in the build. This was sent to me by Wolf. It's a consec hits Quickie, so that's always nice. And I've also got a Plaguebearer for the most common bossing needs that you might want it for, although I don't use it that much. Lastly, I've got a Blastmaster. This is what I use when I'm mobbing with this build. I've told you that I do use the Rocketeer when I'm bossing, for them some for the road kills, but when I'm bossing, I switch to the Blastmaster and switch to Iron Cub as well, so that's in the build if you want that little alternative in your playstyle. I've got a Mesmer for cheesing the Guardian Takedown Crystal section, not because I can't do it normally, it's just because I find it extremely boring, so I can just chuck the Mesmer and AFK, which is always nice. And finally, a Snowdrift, in case I ever want to go back to sliding around and getting to places really quickly. But now we're going to end off with the start of the show, which is the Prompt Critical. This thing is what you want to be running when you are mobbing, or even bossing in most cases, 10 times out of 10. If you're unfamiliar with this gun, it has a sticky firing mode, and it says that subsequent stuck Gyrojets combine, increasing the damage and radius of the detonation. And this right here is how we're going to be pulling off those crazy, massive explosion kills that you see in the intro. This thing is absolutely disgusting, and I'm going to have some gameplay on screen showing you how that works right here. And all I'm doing in a nutshell, as I'll demonstrate for you, is simply spamming my Prompt Critical, and then every time I need to reload, or to trigger that explosion rather, I reload and then I melee cancel, and that makes a huge explosion on the enemy, presuming that you stuck it, and it kills everything around it. And you may also notice that in the build I've got some elemental variants of most of the guns in here. This is just to make it easier for you to mix and match what you want. But that is basically the premises of this build. You are just spamming the critical, chucking grenades, then reload cancelling, getting all of your ammo back, and then you just keep firing and repeating, and everything dies. Now onto my choice in class mod. Why do I have the Rocketeer and the Blastmaster? Well, for me personally, even though I do like the crazy amounts of damage that the Rocketeer provides when I'm bossing, but also when I'm mobbing, I am more a fan of running Iron Cub, and for that reason, I like to have my Iron Cub out while I'm mobbing, and then using a Blast Master to get even more damage on my critical. And what's even better about this is that I never lose the 100% bonus because we never fully reload. We reload cancel, which does not count as a full reload, so we're always firing with 100% bonus damage unless we decide not to. There is really nothing crazy about this build. It is just a very easy to pick up, very easy to understand, low effort build, which allows you to cakewalk pretty much every piece of content in the game, and I love that. And again, the inspiration from Slam Cannon came just because I saw that build, saw how easy it was to mob with it, and even boss with it, and I wanted to replicate that here as well, and I think I've done a pretty good job at doing so. Now again, my current choice for the build is Iron Bear with the Cryo miniguns, just because this thing absolutely slaps, but this is only for when I leave the bear to get some for the road and do my bossing. When I want to do my mobbing, I keep the exact same spec, but I switch to my Iron Cup, go back to my inventory and put on the Blast Master. But I think it's important to highlight here that this is all down to playstyle, and you might even like something like a Flare, or you might want to keep on the Rocketeer, and I can't fault you for that because it's still a good choice either way. But anyway guys, that's going to do it for this build video. There is really nothing crazy to say about this build other than letting the gameplay do the talking for me. I hope you guys enjoy it. The download for this build along with the rest of my builds is available in the description down below if you want to go and check it out. But I really appreciate you guys watching. Let me know what you think of the build in the comment section down below, or if there's any way to improve it. But other than that, I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.